Hello everyone, you're listening to Afterward Gamers, podcast where two nerdy Czech guys sit behind a microphone and this time review the year 2022. I'm Michal.
I am Matouš.
A lot of stuff had happened. A lot of stuff.
Yeah, and since it's been a little bit stressful and video games are a great stress relief,
yeah.
I don't know about you, but I have played a whole lot of games the past year.
I didn't actually. I didn't play it as much.
So it's been even more stressful.
Yeah, exactly. So we obviously can't go throughout every month, every event that happens. So we just choose some topics and some other topics that are a bit bigger that we're gonna save for another episode. For example, like the acquisition of Activision Blizzard and stuff like that. So that's how it's gonna go. We're just gonna go through some small topics, small quote unquote topics, talk about them, and we'll see how it goes.
Oh yeah. So let's start with the first topic.
Yeah. Well, the Stadia was supposed to be the first streaming console, which means that the games were streamed from a server or from a device that was somewhere else in the server room. But that reality has come to the end, as right in January 2022, when Google announced the canceling of the console. But Google also was offering to refund anyone who purchased the console and games too, which is very interesting. Although if you own the console by this episode is out, the refunds are probably closed. So sorry.
Yeah.
If you heard about this for the first time, then I'm sorry. So what went to a demise of Stadia, do you think?
Well, the thing is that the streaming games from the internet has been here actually for a few years now, and it has not been terribly successful. For example, I think the first service focused on gaming, the OnLive, launched back in 2010 in the US, which is more than 12 years ago. And it was a flop financially, at least, and it had some issues. And I think one of the issues of the Stadia is that unlike its competition, which is more gaming oriented, like we have xCloud, which is a part of Xbox Game Pass subscription, which you don't buy the games, you pay for the subscription, which includes the games and the service. So that's one fee. You don't have to pay the fee and buy the games. Or NVIDIA GeForce Now, which is just renting you the hardware to play games from your Steam library that are supported by the service. So I think that is one of the things that they made it too exclusive of a console, which you don't have that much control of. You need the internet, unlike with xCloud and the GeForce Now, in which you can still play the games you own or have in the subscription on your local device.
Oh, so you think just the Stadia just tried to fill a hole, and that hole was just too big?
I wouldn't say so. I think it's how their model was set up. That I think they tried to make it too much into console rather than a service that kind of coexist with the others, because I'm not sure our world today, with some places still having dial-up super slow connection, even like we are living in Prague, and when I was searching for apartment this year, so many apartments have only available a super laggy, super slow connection. So I think the infrastructure is not that ready for this kind of thing yet to become like a mainstream thing.
So you're kind of answering the second question I have, is that if the market is ready for video game streaming and is it a reliable way of gaming, do you think it's actually the future of gaming?
Well, I would say yes and no. Because, as I said, with the GeForce Now, it can play games you own on other digital storefronts like Steam, and there are some other stores supported. And for example, one of my colleagues who is from abroad is actually using GeForce Now because he has a computer back in his home country, and when he's in Prague for the work, he can play via GeForce Now because he has a good connection where he stays in Prague. And it's a great addition to what you have. Or like the xCloud, for example. I like how Microsoft did it, that they made it possible to use it on older Xbox consoles. So I have the Series X, my friend had the Xbox One S, and we could have played together games that were released on Series X only because he had the power of streaming.
Oh, that's cool. That's very cool.
That's very cool, but the thing is, as I said, I don't think it's good to have it as like the single source because not everyone has a good enough connection. Sometimes you have good enough connection for like slow adventure games. There's too many variables.
So it rather than to be main console, as you said, it should be like a service that you can use.
Yeah, that's what I think. At least.
I think PlayStation has two.
Oh yeah, they have the PS Now or whatever it's called. I think they actually bought the OnLive patents back in the day when they went
possible. Down. I haven't used it. And so I can't really say how much is it. I never had Stadia in my hand. I never had it in my hand, and I don't know what how the FPS was. What was if obviously it depends on the connection and what is the feedback in between the controls and everything, and how graphically it was. Like if you would compare it to when the Stadia was out, I think the PS5 and Xbox Series S wasn't even out yet, right?
Yeah, I think so. But the thing is, like the Stadia was like a computer, so it was more specified computer. It was not like a very specific. It was more specific, not as specific as a console in terms of that. So. I don't think that was one of the things, but I have actually tried Stadia when they had like the free month, and at the time I was not at a very good connection in my old apartment, and with the bad connection it was pretty terrible. On decent connection it was fine, but I gotta say I was pretty disappointed that it didn't have support, for example, for mouse and keyboard on all devices. I remember trying it at work with my phone in the connected monitor or like TV, and it didn't support mouse and keyboard, only gamepad. So that was kind of strange. But I think not all of these services support that either.
Yeah. It's funny. It's funny because Google is a massive company, multi-billion company, and they couldn't pull it off.
Yeah, like when they first announced Stadia, like that was my thoughts. Like if someone can pull off streaming gaming, it would be Google because they have experience from stuff like YouTube, and they have they're one of the very first huge internet companies, like huge, global. And it's kind of surprising they canceled it. And I don't know if you've read, but some of the developers of the software for Stadia, it took them by surprise too. So it seems like only executives decided on that and didn't tell the developers
that they're gonna cancel the console.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Or at least some. I think maybe it was one of the studios that was working on the games or something like that.
Oof, that hurts.
Yeah.
If the sales weren't that good, and they weren't, let's be honest, like if you compare it to because it tried to be a major console.
Yeah.
It tried to be. And if you compare it to the PlayStation and Xbox, PS4 and Xbox One at the time, the selling weren't that good. They were bad. Like they sell like just few, like I don't know how many, but not much.
Yeah, and I think part of the problem was also the game support, because they launched it when new generation was on the horizon, like the Series S and X and the PS5, and the old generation had a whole lot of games. So I think they offered a better visual quality, because I think the hardware of Stadia was actually stronger than the old consoles, but don't quote me on that. But they didn't have such a huge library of games, even though they got support from like Rockstar with the Red Dead Redemption 2. Maybe you have heard the story how some gamers had a whole lot of hours on some games, and the companies that made the games were trying to help them get the save for another platform the game is distributed on.
Oh, wow. Okay, so because the console is canceling, they want to move their save somewhere else. What if they don't have other console, though?
Or like PC. But still, that's another problem of cloud-only services, because actually, this funny thing, I have been getting a lot this advertisement on Reddit, the state of serverless, like move to serverless. But that's the thing, serverless does not exist.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's the server, but it's just somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
Cloud does not exist. It's just someone else's computer. And this is exactly the problem. They can cancel the service at any time.
Yeah, exactly. And you can lose all your data.
Yeah, all your saves, all your speedruns. I mean, it can happen if you have it locally, but if you have it locally, you at least have some degree of control. On some consoles, like I don't know about every console, but I think most consoles these days and most games support cloud saves. For example, if you pay for the service or not, or like in Steam you have cloud saves, but it's a backup.
Yeah, no,
it's not the only source.
It's not. Yeah, exactly. So if the cloud service decides to cancel your speedrun data, that means you're gonna lose it very fast. One could say that you would speedrun the delete.
yeah, but I gotta say, it's actually quite nice how the gaming community went together. Even the gaming software companies like Rockstar and I think Ubisoft were helping some of the gamers that have extensive amount of hours played. And I gotta hand this to Google, like good guy Google, for offering refunds for anyone who bought the hardware, who bought the games. That's honestly one of the best ways to handle this.
I mean, they can offer it, right?
Yeah, they definitely can afford it.
They can offer it, because imagine other companies doing it, would ruin them.
I mean, like especially the smaller ones, but yeah, Google. It's not
Google does
pocket money for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Although there's one question I hope they will handle right, and it's the Stadia controller, because right now, as far as I'm aware, you can only use it with Stadia, or maybe by cable with PC on some limited usage or something. And I hope they will not let the controller become an e-waste, but they will release some update, or at least someone from community will figure this out, how to make it like a standalone wireless controller usable with like your common devices, like PC or phone. That would be amazing. I think the cable thing might be working, but I mean, today it's all about the wireless controller. That's why you use controller, because it's wireless. It's more comfortable.
Yeah. I don't know if I would count on Google figuring this out, because again, it's a money and the manpower you have to use for that.
Yeah, but remember how we cyberbullied a company that released a totally different version of the VFX for a movie? It was the Sonic movie.
Oh yeah. I don't know if we cyberbullied them. Like a lot of
dislikes.
Yeah, a lot of dislikes. That's just not harassment. Come on, let's be true to our words.
Yeah, it was a slight exaggeration.
Yeah, no. But like, yeah, good on them. But they paid the right people, and that was good on them, because like they decide, okay, fans hate it. And let's be honest, it looked terrible. I remember that's if you don't follow Corridor Crew on YouTube, go follow them. That was their first like VFX react.
Oh right, yeah.
Because they reacted to the Sonic, and because of that, like they changed the visual of the Sonic. But that was because after big demand. I don't see many gamers to complain about the controller.
Well, it depends where you look, but you're right that it's more of a minority. What I think is more important, if Google is talking about like how green they are and whatnot, I don't know how much they talk about it, but like every company these days want to say like, yeah, we are green, our like what it's called, carbon footprint is very low or whatever. Like this is a way for you, Google, to show that you actually care, that you don't want to leave e-waste lying around and you can actually be the good guys. Like honestly, I think from what I heard that a lot of people actually prefer the Stadia controller. So I think if they would manufacture it as a controller, it might be successful.
Google controller.
I mean, sure.
It's like a Google button that just gonna take you straight to. It's gonna have a Google Gmail, Google Drive, and Google Plus.
Full support for Google Docs.
And it's gonna be compatible with the Google Glass. And if they will ever come with a Google car, it's gonna control the car.
Oh yeah, it's like instead of the steering wheel. Huh?
Yeah.
I mean.
We're gonna talk about Steam Deck and overall handheld consoles. So the release of this portable console, the Steam Deck, in February 2022 wasn't as smooth as Valve probably hoped it would. Let's be honest, the Steam Deck promised to run most of the games from your Steam library in your hand, but as the release was closer and closer, limitations of this handheld console would spring out off the ground, locked on 30 FPS most of the games. Major titles are not supported, and the lack of consoles. That was the problems where gamers had to wait in line to get their hand on it. Get it? Handheld console, hand on it. But many
hand on deck.
Yeah, exactly. But many claim that this console is a game changer for handheld gaming. So why is this particular console, the Steam Deck, why is it a big deal?
I think this one's quite interesting because it's Valve, the PC gaming legend behind it. And I don't think the console is the right word for it because it's a PC, a Linux Steam OS flavor PC to be more precise. And the fact that Valve's behind it is, I think, one of the reasons why Steam Deck is still around and it's not doing that terrible. And I think it also comes to the pricing because since they are so big, it has a little bit more console approach, you can see at Valve, because they set the price quite low, especially at the launch. Like to get a laptop or like some equivalent portable device with this good hardware, it would actually cost much more. I mean, the hardware was still limited, and the issues with the game compatibility, although it's Valve, so they do software and they do software updates pretty good. So a lot of the stuff is much better now.
No. That's I wanted to say that it's not like that now. That was we're talking about the news of the 2022, but now it's obviously much better. Although there's a lot of games that are still not supported, like big major games.
Yeah, but I think actually what Steam Deck brought was not. I mean, like it brought something to the handheld gaming, and we can get to that in a bit. But it had also been it brought a huge thing to the PC gaming, and that is support for more games under Linux. Because with the Proton layer, which they developed or helped develop, I'm not sure right now, it's a compatibility layer which allows to play Windows games on Linux. It like makes in the Linux emulation of the Windows file system or something, or like the not the system, like the folder structure, and translates the API call so that the game basically thinks it's on Windows and runs great. And like with the interest on Steam Deck for major game developers, like the Linux can now play much more games thanks to this effort.
Yeah, but will developers go and develop games on Linux?
Well, this is not about developing games on Linux, but adding support for the Steam Deck, which extends to supporting Linux. It's like not developing for Linux. It's more like ensuring it works in the Proton. So basically ensuring it works in some specific environment. And I gotta say, even Microsoft made some of their games playable, at least on Steam Deck. Yeah. Like I think you can play Forza Horizon 5. I'm not sure about the frame rate and quality, but you can play it and it's playable from what I've been told. So that's huge.
I think, for me at least, why is it such a big deal? It's because you can play your Steam library anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to carry a huge computer on your back, and you can just turn on, I don't know, Half-Life on your
Half-Life 3.
Yeah, Half-Life on the bus on the way to work or school. That's why I feel like it's a big deal. Like same as this is the same thing why Switch was such a big deal, because all your favorite game from Nintendo you could have played on a plane, on a toilet.
Yeah.
You could play it on a bus, anywhere you want, and that's why this is a big deal.
Definitely, although I would say that it's more towards a specific audience, because a lot of PC gamers I know from my or like some of my friends, I would say, that play on PC as their main platform, usually own a Switch, because they play the big PC games on the PC at home on their beefy, power-hungry 4090 or whatever. No, I don't think anyone in my social bubble has 4090. But they played the portable games on the Switch, and so now the Steam Deck, that's its strength and weakness at the same time, because Switch is focused on handheld gaming has a really good support, because the games are developed with the handheld version in mind oftentimes, especially the first party ones. And the Steam Deck is not. It's just support for playing on controller on a PC. And in that way, it's different. It has advantage of like huge library. Any console could only dream of such a huge library of games, even though not all are supported. I think still more games that all the major console combined are available on the Steam Deck.
Probably.
I would dare to say something like it, or will be soon.
Yeah.
Once the support is added. But for example, on Switch, the Switch ports usually have, like when you play them on handheld, the font size is bigger. Or it's more adjusted for a smaller screen so that you see what you need to see. While on the Steam Deck, it's usually not that often, because the screen is quite smaller than what your average gaming laptop or I don't know, tablet screen would be. So that is one of the things which complicates it for Steam Deck.
What do you mean complicated?
Like, complicates the success, I would say.
Oh, okay. Well, the Steam Deck has 6,000 games as for now.
That's a whole lot.
Yeah, that was October 2022. 6,000 games, playable, verified. So
yeah,
it's a pretty big number.
Yeah, I think consoles usually have like 1,000-2,000s. The next gen, like. The thing is, like, the next-gen console have backwards compatibility, but still, like, 6,000 games so close after launch, like year after launch.
Yeah.
Huge.
That's the advantage for, like, PlayStation 4 had 3,280 games.
like
That's half.
insane.
That's a little bit more than a half, but still, like, yeah, Steam has a huge advantage because of that. So, do you think that the handheld consoles can ever catch up to the major platforms like PC, Xbox, PS, PlayStation, Switch?
I think this is a really interesting question, because if you look at how games, like, let's talk about the jumps in between generational jumps in consoles first, to like illustrate what I'm trying to say. I hope I won't lose the thread. So if you take a look at the jump between Atari 2600 and the NES, it was a huge leap. Like, you had full screen graphics and wow. And then you had jump from SNES to N64. You had fully 3D graphics. And then the jump from the OG Xbox and PS2 to the next generation, and you had HD with 3D graphics. And now if you take a look between the PS4 and the PS5, or the PS4 Pro and the PS5, the jump is not that huge. I mean, yeah, it looks better, it has more fancy effects, some games has support for ray tracing, but the jump it's not such a big deal when you jumped from the 480p on PS2, or like a lot of PS2 games were actually running 240p and looked like garbage. But if you jumped from that to PS3, wow, that was such a difference.
Yeah,
so much better, more details. And I think they will never catch up like on the exact performance, but I think they can actually catch up in like the trade-off for visual fidelity in terms of details. But since we don't need that huge leaps, I would say, in terms of having pretty nice quality, something nice to look at, especially with like improvements in optimizations that a lot of game engines and drivers can provide. I mean, we don't necessarily need to catch exactly, but they can catch on the level that they can keep up rather than catch up.
That's an interesting point. I think the handheld console is gonna be its own thing.
Yeah, kind of.
It's not gonna be like, because it's not everyone's thing. Like, in the end of the day, yes, you could take your handheld console on a holiday, or you can take it like on the way to work. But when you get home, you will still prefer PC, Xbox, PlayStation, whatever it is, something major that has all the games that you want, because of the performance and because of the the online features and stuff like
or
that.
Like ease of use and stuff. Like handheld consoles are heavier than your gamepad.
Yeah, exactly. It's still, I tried the Steam Deck because a lot of colleagues have it at work, and so I tried it, and it is a beefy boy. Like, you could kill a cow with that. It is pretty heavy. It's like 1 kg, I think. That's how.
I think it's less, but yeah, it's
something like that.
About right.
But that's a pretty heavy for handheld console. Just imagine it like playing in bed with your handheld console. If you would fall asleep and it would fall on your head, you would not sleep that night. You would go to the hospital because of a broken nose. So I think the handheld console is going to be like its own branch of gaming. It's never going to catch up to the real gaming because, as I said, in the end of the day, you'd rather play because of the performance, because of the high fidelity, because of the online features.
I think it's still a great option. For example, like with the Switch, why it was so successful is because it gave you the flexibility, and that's kind of what the Steam Deck does when you combine it with a PC. But there's one thing that I think we should talk about in this topic, which relates to the online gaming, because I don't know if you heard about I think Logitech made it, the device that was basically like a phone or tablet. That's some mid-range or maybe low-range ARM CPU, not capable of running big games. And I think it ran on Android or modified Android, something like that. And it was focused on consuming media and consuming streamed games. So you had pre-installed apps, I think, for the xCloud and the GeForce Now. And that's kind of another thing. It relates to the game streaming, because on one hand, you can have much lighter handheld, and if you only travel between places with good internet connection, like that can be totally fine for you, or at least when you're on vacation. On the other hand, the handheld gaming, as you said, is big because you have the performance in your hands, so you can play it in a cave, in a submarine. I myself got a Switch, and when I travel to my parents by train, there's a place without internet, even though the operators say there is great mobile data coverage, there is not. And I can still play a lot of my Switch games because I have the performance in the palm of my hands, and I do not have to rely on the online service. And I think the same goes for the Steam Deck.
Obviously.
It's locally.
Yeah, exactly. And another question just popped in my head is that, as you said, like the Steam Deck is running on like a modified version of Linux. Then we talked about Switch, which is having its own operational system, and as we saw on the Switch, not many developers want to go there. Don't want to go and develop games on Switch. It might be changing now, but like still, it's a hassle.
Yes.
Because okay, so both of us, we work in the game development in a different position. But when I started as a tester, and we were testing some games on Switch, and that game was also cross-platform in between PS4, I think it was the newest Series 2, like the Xbox Series X, PS5, and on Switch. And because of that, so all the players can run in one environment, you have to lower everything. You have to lower the fidelity, you have to lower the foliage, the polygons, everything has to be lowered, so the Switch players can play without any issue. So now the question is, will the developers want to develop games also for Steam Deck, or maybe should a company, maybe just giving it ideas to someone who wants to make money out of gaming, some company could maybe focus on these type of games and do the
porting?
The porting for these consoles, because not everyone will want to do that, because it's pain to port games. It's not easy, especially if you want a cross-platform. Trust me, it's not freaking easy. It's a hell. You don't want to do it unless you know that people will play it.
And that's the thing. I think you just answered your own question. It comes to money. Why? I mean, it was at the beginning of the Switch. The developers didn't really want to do it, and now it's like more at the decline, I would say, because the hardware is much more obsolete than it was at launch.
Are you talking about OLED?
Oh, that's the same processor. Okay. It's like same CPU, same GPU. It just has a nicer screen. So what's different?
Sorry. Just a quick question. What is then different about the OLED?
It has a nice OLED screen, like OLED master race. It's one of the best display technologies.
Okay.
And it has higher internal memory.
Okay.
And it has integrated LAN port in the dock.
Oh, okay.
And it's more expensive.
Of course.
But the thing for the porting comes to the money. Why developers go to the Switch? Because over 100 million people now, I think, own the Switch.
Yeah.
So if you release a game that, let's say, 20% of gamers that own the Switch might like, there is a chance that 20 million people will buy the game. And that's why consoles, it's like how consoles work. Like you try to make a platform that will attract both people and developers, so that people will want the hardware because it has the games, and developers will want to give the games because there's the people that will buy the games. And that's why a lot of studios do some even made a career of porting games to the Switch, like Panic Button with their Doom 2016 port, or they worked on Apex Legends and
Grip
Skyrim. Yes.
That's the company I work for.
Yeah, so some companies did a career on porting, or like they developed in-house or hired someone because of the money, because of the people that will buy the game. Because when there is a demand and it's financially a good idea to meet the demand, then you should go for it, because it can earn you money and it will make the players happy. That's why a lot of ports have been demanded for Switch, because the portability. And I think that's why some games are more likely to be adjusted for the Steam Deck, because some players are actually moving just to the Steam Deck as their main platform. For example, when they're on the move, or current PC hardware is getting very, very expensive compared to previous generations, even without chip shortage. And Steam Deck has just the price appeal. Like, it's much cheaper than buying a good PC. And with the smaller screen, you don't need that many details to have a good time playing, somewhat. So it can be another point for the developer. Okay, hey, Steam has the statistics, I think, for the developers now. Like, hey, a lot of people are playing our game on the Steam Deck. Maybe we should make it better experience, so they will recommend it to their other Steam Deck friends.
Maybe. I don't know. I didn't look at those numbers, so I don't know. But as we kind of established, I still don't think that it's going to become the major console.
No, I don't think so. And that's the thing. It's not that much of a console. It's like a cut down PC. It's like different kind of portable PC. Yeah. And that's just another, another hardware configuration the developers can account for. It's much easier to account for than like a lot of other combination, because each Steam Deck has the same CPU and GPU, you don't have that much work. That's true. And I think, and I kind of hope it's here to stay, at least the form factor. I mean, there are other makers that make similar hardware. Sometimes they run on Windows, so they are basically just a PC in a case with a gamepad. Some are even more powerful than the Steam Deck. I think even like some by the AI company, or like AI Neo was very, very famous.
Yeah.
There's options, and if people will buy it and will try to play games on it, and the developers will see that the people do this, they will support it, because that's where the money's at.
No, exactly. I think it's still gonna take some time though, because like the Steam just came out. Yeah, exactly. Like I don't know how if like people these days. I don't want to bash on people, but I don't know if people really understand how game development, how long it takes. It's a freaking pain to make a game. It takes a long time. It's not just like it's now it's not just like just few people in a grandma's basement just programming some games on a PC. It takes a lot of people. A lot of people.
And not just a lot of people, it can take a lot of managers. And you know how sometimes it can be pain to hassle with the managers.
Yeah, well, and the manager has to hassle with the people. Let's not be bad just on the managers.
No, it was kind of a joke. But yeah, you get the point. Like it can be a lot of work, especially when you aim for the higher fidelity, which like a lot of companies these days do. Like gaming has evolved.
Oh yeah.
And it's not as easy to develop a AAA game as what was considered AAA 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, at that time, the like hardware options were so simple that, it was a pain developing in assembly code without any extensive options of debug that we have today and emulators, and you had to fit everything into 64 kilobytes cartridge. Yeah. But it could have been one person that had an idea and learned the code. True. But today, like there are projects like that, but they're definitely not like the biggest games.
Oh yeah, no.
In terms of sales.
Yeah,
that they're I don't want to bash on indie developers. I love indie developers, and I love when someone is so passionate that they develop their own game for like 10 years and it's awesome.
Yeah.
But like it's not that common. That's like game with the scale of, I don't know, let's say Assassin's Creed Odyssey, whatever. Yeah. It's like it cannot be done in one person in your lifetime.
Definitely not.
I mean, with AI tools, maybe, but
yeah, it's going to be very sketchy, even that. The CD Projekt Red announcements. For me, that's a really, really close to my heart because The Witcher 3 is my favorite game of all time. But let's be honest, after their big blow of releasing Cyberpunk 2077, somehow they managed it, but the CD Projekt Red made us excited again. They announced work on several projects, among them the Witcher games. Altogether, they announced 5 new Witcher games. There will be a new trilogy, 1 mobile game, and there's not much known about the third project. But CD Projekt Red also announced a remake of the first installment of the Witcher series, which is really exciting. They also said that their games, including the remake of The Witcher 1, will run on Unreal Engine. I just want to have a quick note. When they announced the Witcher 4, quote-unquote Witcher 4, they announced it with just like the Witcher medallion and a snow. A lot of people were speculating, then CD Projekt Red confirmed that it's actually School of the Lynx, and I actually am really interested how they're gonna handle it, because I saw a fanfiction about the School of the Lynx, so it's a fan-made thing. But the thing is that the fanfiction says that Lambert, one of the Witchers, made that school. He created it, which doesn't make sense because Lambert freaking hates Witchers. He hates himself as a Witcher, and he said he doesn't want to make any Witchers. And actually, this is not a spoiler because, let's be honest, Witcher 3 came out in 2015. You should have played by now. Definitely. This is not a freaking spoiler.
It's even on a Switch.
Yeah,
you can play it in toilet.
Yeah, you could have played it on toilet. But he, at the end of one of the encounter, he rides with one of the witches who saved his life. So if you didn't manage to kill him, there's a way you can kill him. Actually, not you, but like you can get him killed.
Okay.
But if he survives, you see him at the end leaving with one of the witches or the sorceresses, I should have said. So I don't know how they're gonna implement it. How I hope they're gonna keep it consistent and not gonna make Lambert make a School of the Lynx, because it doesn't make sense, and I'm bashing it up. I'm really passionate about the Witcher games, okay? I read the books before it was cool. I read the books. When I finished the books, the second game was already out, so then I just jumped into the games. I played the first one. I played them in order, thankfully. So So I'm really passionate about that. So, but there comes a question with these announcements, and also with their bit of a failure in Cyberpunk 2077, because let's be honest, they didn't handle it well.
The launch.
The launch at least. Like now it's fixed. I played it even on PlayStation 4. Plays well.
Wow.
It's so. I would say like. That's the good job, but should we trust CD Projekt Red? Should we trust them with this now, or is it any different than any other studios?
I think that CD Projekt kind of have a good track record of fixing their mess, because I'm not sure if you remember, but when The Witcher 3 came out,
Oh yeah,
it was not in such a mess state as Cyberpunk 2077. It was actually a whole lot of better, but there were still some issues with the game.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, it not became as popular as it is today because of the launch state, but because of how it was improved later.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think the biggest thing was when they released a new game. I mean, DLC. It was a poke at EA because CD Projekt releases a new game and calls it a DLC, while it does it the other way around. But like that was the point where it became the big, huge thing, and it definitely sets CD Projekt as one of the like big RPG studios, and I think what they are doing with Cyberpunk 2077 gives them quite a good position, because now gamers can at least trust that, or like hope, there's a big possibility that if the game is not perfect at launch, they will listen to their complaints and try to fix it in some time horizon.
Yeah, that's true.
And I mean, Cyberpunk is getting improved with every update from what I've read. I mean, I haven't played it yet, but I definitely want to. And now that I hear it's getting better, I'm getting more and more excited to play it.
No, it's a great game. Like, it doesn't overshadow The Witcher 3. It can't. Like, it just can't. It's just, that's not possible. But it's still a great game. It is still a great game. Also, these days, like, it's really hard to test game into perfection. There are studios who can make it, but like there's always be something players will always found. Like the Cyberpunk 2077 was really, really broken.
Yeah.
It was in a bad state. It shouldn't have been released. They should have kept it in the oven for another year and just release it when it's actually ready, as they said when it was announced, right?
I mean, I think the issue of that game was also that as the rumor has it, they restarted development. So there were high expectations because we were waiting for a long time for that game. And by the time they were close to the end of the main development, new platforms came out, so they try to optimize for so many platforms, which, as you said, is a massive pain.
It is.
And the more platforms you have, the harder it is. And there's also the thing, they did this huge mistake of outsourcing the QA. As a QA professionally, I work now as a QA, and once this was uncovered that they had some hassle with the company, I'm not sure how much of it is true, because I don't think we had it from an official source, but all our QAs were actually commenting on that, and we all QAs in our company agree that it might not be such a good idea to outsource a QA in such a big scope.
Hire QA developers. It's really needed. No. QA is one of the most. They can say anyone can say what they want, but the QA is essential for gaming. We're going to talk about it a little bit more later.
Or maybe in the future.
And maybe in the future. I want to touch it in one other topic we're going to talk about today. But
okay.
If you look at the next gen update for The Witcher 3, when it came out, it was a bit broken. I'll be honest, it was a bit broken. I was actually streaming it on my Twitch, and when I died, I was soft locked. I couldn't get to the main menu. I couldn't get to. I couldn't exit the game. I had to go through Task Manager and just kill the app. I just couldn't get restart the game, which was sad. But they fixed it, and it's much better. And how they did it was just, they could just like most of developers, how they did it, right? Oh, we're gonna release the game on a new console. 4K, 30 FPS. But you have ray tracing, and you have higher fidelity, you have higher foliage. But they didn't just settle down to just, make the game nicer. They brought a lot of new quests. They like a lot of content, a lot of new content. The game looks better. I'm gonna talk about it later on more. So I just want to say that yes, CD Projekt Red. I personally trust them because I know that even if they release a game that's sort of broken, they sit on their butt and they're gonna freaking fix it. Not just because I feel like it's not just because they messed up, but because they want to. Okay, I mean every developer, everyone who works in this industry, if I'm not talking about the guys who are like high, like the management.
I mean the non-gamers in the industry. Even management can be good.
The management can be good. I'm talking about like the shareholders and stuff like that. The people who don't care about the games, but they care about the money. Where was I going with this?
I don't know. How you trust CD Projekt Red?
Yeah, because they every developer wants to just release a good game that everyone will enjoy, and that's when it comes to. So I feel like we should never, ever blame developers for a broken game. It's never their fault because they tried their freaking best. Yeah, we can say that was a terrible game. You should have made it. It's awful. It's unplayable. It has a terrible story. Yada yada yada. But when it comes to a good game, and it's just a bit broken, okay, just go and fix it.
Yes.
I don't care. Fix it. I don't care if the one-day patch has a 50 gigabyte. I don't freaking care.
Yeah, I have fast internet connection too.
Yeah, it's not about that even. I'd rather have the 50 gigabyte update than just have a broken game. So, also one thing, CD Projekt Red announced that the Virtual 1 is going to come on the Unreal Engine and all the games. Yeah, sorry, you want to say something else?
Before you go to that, I would just like to add that with this game being released in terrible state compared to 20 years or maybe sometimes even less in the past because they had no option than to expensively withdraw all the game discs or cartridges and redistribute them, which is super expensive. So now they have options to release unfinished game. But I have one advice for you to stop or at least prevent this from happening. Do not pre-order games. No, seriously, I'm serious. Don't pre-order games. Because unless the company has an amazing track record of releasing games in a great state on day one, and I mean even Nintendo that usually did this had, I think it was last year, the Mario Strikers issue that was like the game was not in a. I think it was better than like Cyberpunk, for example, at launch, but still, it was not in the state you wanted it to be at launch. But seriously, just stop pre-ordering games. If you want pre-order games, the game companies will have to earn your trust by releasing the game in the good state. So if you don't pre-order the game, they don't have guaranteed you will buy it. So they will have to make the game good, so they will get good reviews. If you pre-order the game, they don't have to persuade you to buy it because you already did.
Fair enough. I will still pre-order the crap out of the Witcher game. So
you're a lost cause.
In that regard, when it comes to Witcher, yes.
So
but
take it as I say, not as Michal do.
Exactly.
But yeah, for the Unreal Engine, that's actually very interesting because the Witcher coming or the CD Projekt coming to Unreal Engine comes to me kind of as a surprise now, not when it was announced, but now that they've added the next-gen improvements to their custom engine. Because they now have the support for all the fancy features while they're moving to another engine. I mean, I don't blame them in the regard that Unreal Engine 5.1 is pretty sweet if you can just watch some videos on YouTube when they compare or showcase some of the features
I'm
even
working
for non-developers.
I'm working in Unreal Engine at the moment, and it's freaking amazing.
Yeah, like the nanite is a feature that basically, like in a game, when you have, like, to save performance, you have an object in high quality, and there are LODs, as it goes for level of detail, versions of that model. So when you go further away, it flips to a lower detail model to make it easier on your GPU so that you can actually have playable frame rates. And Unreal Engine 5.1 gets rid of this, and they dynamically change it. You have no loss in performance, and the game still looks amazing. And there are plenty of other features like that. So I mean, I totally understand why they went for it, but still, kind of these days, a lot of studios are moving, especially to Unreal Engine, because if you try the demo, for example, of the Matrix, I played it, and it's amazing. If you work with it, you usually know that it's amazing. And developing your own engine is hard. But on the other hand, it can offer you some level of flexibility and customizability that the commercial engine can't.
Exactly.
And for example, I read an interview with one of the guys from Bohemia Interactive, the Czech studio that developed like DayZ and Wildlands. And I remember him saying something like that they try to use some commercial solutions for some games, but also their own, because sometimes they do a little bit more niche things, which are not and probably will never be supported in the commercial engines. And also, if you know Bohemia Interactive, they usually tend to support their games for a lot more than like engine version is.
Yeah, true.
So like for long-term support, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. We kind of talked about this at work. We kind of touched on this topic, and yes, as you said, like Unreal Engine 5, especially Unreal Engine 5.1, is as a game changer. It's not just a global illumination and like how it works. It's also how it's the visual scripting, the blueprints. It's finally it doesn't look like an engine that was developed by kids. It was made for kids. The UI and the UX is so good in Unreal Engine 5. It's just super easy to navigate. It's just amazing platform to work on. However, I feel like why so many companies have their own engines, especially the big companies. You know, EA has a Frostbite, Bethesda has totally their crap creation engine, which I heard the Elder Scrolls is running on.
What?
Yeah, I heard.
Why won't they use the it tech, which is superior in every way?
I was saying about the same thing. Like just throw that crap out of the window and use something freaking better. There's a market for it.
Yeah, like they have their in-house it tech, which is actually pretty awesome.
Yeah, or like the games like Horizon Zero Dawn has the Decima engine, which is absolutely amazing engine too. The reason why companies want to have their own engine, it's, as you said, one of the things is definitely customability of the engine, but also it's just much cheaper. Because
you don't have to develop the engine.
Yeah.
No,
it's much cheaper to have your own engine than because you have to buy the prescription. Like I can use Unreal Engine for free.
Because you're not earning money on it.
Because I'm not earning money on it. But if the whole company would develop a game on Unreal Engine, all of a sudden you have a game that cost. I think the Unreal Engine or the Epic has it like if you're not making until like certain amount of money that you don't have to pay.
I think it's under $1 million on the game or something.
Yeah. And then imagine. It's gonna cost CD Projekt Red a lot of money, but if they're willing to spend it, I believe the Unreal, the Witcher 1. Oh my gosh, it's gonna look so good. I'm gonna have to buy a new graphics card for that. I'm gonna have to just buy everything new, maybe new computer altogether. I don't know if I have money to run yearly a 4090. Maybe I would not have to pay for heating that much though.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like it can be there can be a lot of good with coming to an Unreal Engine, but that you're losing that kind of, as you said, the accessibility of your own engine in regards of customizations and your own like visual language.
Yeah, that's it, the visual language. Like each engine kind of has their little bit own style. It's not just the models, but how the engine represent or renders the models. And yeah, it's like sometimes you can really tell the game runs on Unreal Engine 4 based on how the lighting looks.
Yeah.
I think like in Unreal 5 you have more options for that. Yeah. But it will be definitely interesting to see what will they do with it.
Yeah. It's like one thing about the Unreal Engine, like the reason why we don't see much of the global illumination is because it's performance heavy. And yeah, Unreal Engine has it still, but it's still performance heavy.
No, of course.
It's gonna take a long time for games to have native global illumination. Like it's great to make movies in Unreal Engine. Freaking what's it called? Mandalorian. It's like you should have tried to look up a video about it if you haven't watched
the virtual production.
The visual production
insane.
of they have like big LED screens, and the set is just a big LED room with the screens, and they projecting the scene, the foliage,
like
the rock, the environment on the screen behind the characters. And
yeah, so it's like a green screen.
Yeah.
But instead of having the green reflection, that's why they can afford to have like the shiny, glossy ship of the main character, because it has real-time reflections on the ship, which you could not do easily on the green screen.
Even on Mando's like armor, you can see it. Yeah, it looks so good, and that's why it's so good. It looks so good that it's not just. I mean, it would just cost much more to film it somewhere outside, because you have to move the whole production team, the director, and the light designers, and everyone to have to move to. But
like
here you
around the globe for different locations.
Yeah, exactly. And now you just have it in one room, and you can you can change the environment in Unreal Engine. So Unreal Engine 5 is freaking amazing, and it's going to change a lot. It's already changing the gaming industry.
Oh, yeah.
Let's be honest.
I actually can't wait for first Unreal Engine 5 games to release, because like on the next-gen hardware, it actually runs and provides a lot of options. And I think when first Unreal Engine 5, I hope including the Witcher remake, when they are released, it will be like the few true next-gen games that will bring all the advantages. But since it was released not that long ago, it will take some time, because as we said, development takes time.
Yeah, exactly.
But I gotta say, I have one wish for the Witcher. While I mention it once again, while we had the topic, I really wish they would add, or at least at the option, that the original Czech dubbing of the game. I mean, it was a little bit cringe sometimes.
It was so cringe that it was so much fun to listen to.
Exactly. That's exactly the point of it.
It's just that the voice actors are so... Like, I feel like they haven't been paid enough.
Honestly, I think with the first game, they might not have been.
No, I mean, even CD Projekt Red, that was the first game they ever made. They were still learning how to make a video game, and by the end of the game, they finally learned how to make a game. So let's make a second installment, and look at the second installment. It was fucking banger. Everyone loved that game, and then The Witcher 3 just expanded.
Even better.
Yeah, even better. So I have high hopes for CD Projekt Red, but there's the what's the word? Freaking forgetting words in English.
Like a level?
Yeah, the level is just...
the bar. The bar is set too high.
The bar is set very high because of The Witcher 3 and just overall...
That's why they released the Cyberpunk in such a bad state, so that people would lower their bar a little.
Maybe.
Let's have some conspiracy theory.
Okay, let's start a Reddit thread on this. And see, was it a marketing experience? Was the game just developed by some studio somewhere else? It wasn't even developed by CD Projekt Red. They just put it somewhere in India or something. just few people developed it. If that would be the truth, they did a hell of a good job. I have to say that.
Yeah, like some guy back in the block of flats during nights on his mother's laptop.
Mom, are you on the phone again? The internet is crappy. Right.
These days it's more like microwave disrupting the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
That's a fact. Google it.
Is it real?
Yeah. It can. It's like it can have some interference on the 2.4 gigahertz bandwidth.
I have an urge to put a tinfoil hat on my head right now. That sounds so crazy.
I think we should move on.
The microwaves are trying to kill us, ladies and gentlemen. Protect yourself.
Oh no, what have I said? What have I done?
Yeah, I'm afraid that I said it, and now someone's going to take it. It's going to make it a real thing.
Don't quote us on that.
Yeah, don't quote us on that.
It was a joke, disclaimer. Yeah, it was a joke. Yeah. It's not true.
Yeah.
But don't game on Wi-Fi while you have a microwave.
Or don't game in the microwave.
Don't game on the microwave. I mean, yeah, it can run World of Warcraft easily.
I said in microwave.
I'm too fat to fit in the microwave.
Same. I'm too fat. Let's move on.
Let's move on.
Later on in this year, we had a GTA 6 leak. The Rockstar is very known for their secrecy. I don't think the Red Dead Redemption 2 was leaked at all.
Oh yeah, that's
they're very, very, very nitpicky about their secrecy, and that is why this leak is such a big deal. And not just the game announcement was leaked. It's not just that we're making the GTA 6. If that would just be the leak, everyone would be like, oh, okay, that's cool. Okay, we're excited for it.
We expected that.
Yeah, we expected that you hopefully are working on GTA 6. But a lot of content was just out there for the world to see. Location, story, characters, and other information were pulled out from the Rockstar. Well, GTA 5 was still announced to be published on the PS5 on Xbox Series X. So that's mind-boggling for me. I heard some stories, I don't know if it's actually true because I don't think the Rockstar confirmed it, that apparently 70-year-old guy, a boy, was behind the leak. I don't believe that. I don't think that's possible. So, but it's not just a small amount of information. It was a lot. I think the whole story was leaked. A bunch of videos, bunch of pictures. The main characters and the other characters were leaked. It's crazy. So how can this leak affect the development of the game? And is it because a lot of video games do it too. I feel like it's becoming a marketing strategy. We're gonna say that, ooh, it was a leak. Wink.
I mean, what you're saying, the marketing practice makes a lot of sense, because I think a lot of companies do it. Yeah, exactly. It's a leak. Wink, wink.
Yeah, exactly.
And sometimes it's it feels like it was a leak, but it was they left the files on their desk so that someone could easily grab them, or you know what, metaphor.
I hope no one will see this.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like that because honestly, it can provide the companies with some level of feedback. Okay, the players see this and they will react. Of course, when you see a leak, you can, of course, react to what you like, what you dislike. And sometimes I feel like companies do it, especially when they try to take some risky steps, usually in terms of earning more money versus being passionate about making a good game or a good product.
Yeah, exactly.
But To the question how it can develop the game, well, like it's kind of obvious. If they're not deaf to what fans will say, they will probably react to their feedback. If they like something, they will add more of it. If they don't like, they will not. And I think it can also help marketing. I have a guess, although Nintendo, if your lawyers are listening, then I didn't say that because I know how terrible you can be when you took down the Did You Know Gaming video, but that's for another day. It feels like when the Switch was about to launch, there was every week some new information available, and some of them were considered leaks, but it almost felt like they were just leftover crumbs for the media to build the hype for something.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think this can be the same thing. Like, hey, like we announced GTA 6 and you're not talking about it because you've been waiting for like 10 years and still nothing, because we were instead developing GTA Online, which sucks.
Yeah.
So let's talk about our game more. I mean, it can be a little bit of that. I mean, like, we don't know, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't be that surprised if this was the truth.
So you think this was a marketing?
I'm not sure, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Like that's the thing, because Rockstar is, as I said, they're known for their secrecy, but all of a sudden we have this huge leak of GTA 6. So it's coming as a surprise from Rockstar.
The other possibility is also that it's not representative of the games. Often the leaks can be of early development phase, so they're totally different. And also sometimes not all the leaks are truthful. Like, there are a lot of leakers that sometimes they can even get like a honeypot leak from the company.
Fair.
Of something different, or they can totally make this stuff up. I mean, I don't know why would someone go to the extreme length to make something like that, but like people these days can totally do this. And I mean, usually they do it as a satire or a joke or as an April Fool's. I mean, I did some stuff like that in the past, like
You leaked the game.
fake games and stuff. You know, like making a fake game cover as like, look, guys, new game coming out, because of course it's fun.
Yeah.
Like it
You
can
like to
get
troll people, huh?
Well, it's April the 1st, so you can get some upvotes on the Reddit, some conversation.
true.
Oh yeah, I wish they would make this game, and
Yeah.
it's fun. But like making up leak, it can be for fake internet points. I mean, sure, but like it can totally happen.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying it could not happen. I'm just doubting if this was the real
Oh yeah, me
moment.
too. But
Like,
who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Like, we probably will never know until like Rockstar will come up. Did Rockstar even said anything about it? I don't even
I'm not
know.
sure, honestly.
Because like for me, GTA 5, I never played it. I never planned to play it. So I'm not that big of a fan of GTA series. The last one I was playing was, I think,
Andreas?
no, it was GTA 3.
Like even older than San
Yeah,
Andreas.
exactly.
Okay. I mean, I myself also am not a hardcore GTA fan. I mean, I played some, like San Andreas. GTA 5, actually, like the storyline is actually, or can be, a lot of fun. I enjoyed that, but I don't understand people that call for GTA 6 and instead keep buying shark cards in GTA Online. It's your fault that GTA 6 started development that late. It's like I said with the pre-orders. Vote with your wallet. If you would not pay them for that online crap, they would start developing GTA 6 sooner, because they would know they need something to make money.
Again.
Yeah.
It's make money, yeah. I mean, also, it, like, let's be honest, it also takes some manpower too, because people are still playing GTA Online, and it takes some manpower to
but
maintain
they're earning a lot of money from people buying
I'm not saying they're not. I'm not saying they're not. But yeah, but so do you think that the GTA 6 could be as successful as its predecessor, GTA 5?
I mean, that is a really good question. I am a little bit skeptic into there. There are basically two outcomes. Yeah, it flop and success. One of them, like, what plays for the success is that, like, Rockstar had actually a pretty decent track record of releasing kind of complete games that are actually pretty good. Like, yeah, you remember Red Dead Redemption 2, like, when it came out, it was, like, great. It didn't have much issues, and it was a great game. The same when they released some other games in the past. And I mean,
I didn't like Red Dead Redemption 2.
I mean, I have some. I didn't like everything about it, but it was a fun game. I mean, I like the first one more. Unpopular opinion, but
yeah,
it was actually in pretty good state. And for the people that prefer the genre,
still
it was
a good
great.
game. I just didn't like it.
Anyway, like that can be the case of GTA 6.
Yeah,
but also they can have we can call it the cyberpunk issue. The game that has been put away for so long, but everyone knew it would come up eventually. And if the development is going bad, I think it would be better for them to just release it as a crap and move on to other game rather than like prolonging and restarting development because the hype will just go longer because people would say, oh yeah, they're working on it. Yeah. Which means it will be even better because they're working on it for so long. Like it's called development hell. Like constant restarts of the development.
Yeah,
a couple of games had it, and while they survived, meaning they were in the end released, most of them were not good.
That's true.
I mean, like GTA 6 started development late, but well, we'll see.
I mean, it's not going to come anytime soon, I'll be honest. As I said, they announced that the GTA 5 will come to PS5 and Xbox Series X. So
yeah, like
I don't know when. I don't know if maybe it's already out. I don't know.
It's like the joke PS2 had 3 GTAs, like the 3 San Andreas and Vice City, I think. And the GTA 5 had 3 PlayStations because it originally came for the PS freaking 3 and Xbox 360.
Yeah.
So far ago.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Because GTA 5 came out in 2013.
Yeah. I mean,
2013.
I mean, that was the pinnacle of gaming, but still.
No, exactly.
So long ago now.
Yeah, it's so long ago.
10
Just
years.
move on. Move on. And like, if you even look at the remaster or remake of GTA San Andreas?
Oh yeah, they actually the definitive edition. Oh, they didn't have a good state at launch.
That was terrible. It even still looks terrible. Like what the hell? Like I played it on my friend's PC, and I was like, what is this? Like, yeah, I get that game was developed long time ago, but you can't just put it just on an HD and just not care about everything else.
You can make it run and put the HD rendering, but then you cannot ask for that price.
No, exactly. It was
like if you do that, you should sell it for like €3 on Steam.
Yeah, exactly. Like it felt like they just gave it. So they just outsourced it.
It felt like a cash grab, like from the management. Like, oh yeah, people love them. Let's give them a very cheap remaster.
Exactly.
And that's why it surprised me when these were like players hated the state. They were like, maybe we should cancel other remaster projects. No, you should actually make them good.
Yeah, just fix it.
Like, I mean, I'm still waiting for the first Red Dead Redemption to come on a PC. Because
that would be great.
That game was great. I played it on the PS3, and I can totally see how it can be improved in terms of visual fidelity, because that game is awesome.
Yeah.
Give it us on PC.
Yeah.
With global illumination, or even without it. I mean, just give it to us on PC.
Yeah, exactly.
Working properly and running properly.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I can trust, like, as I trust the CD Projekt Red, I don't know if I can trust Rockstar Games, Rockstar Studios, because of this kind of a history of cash grabbing people and just
it's more like the recent history, because in the past it feels like
No,
they had a little bit better track record than they have today.
But it's just going down. I don't know if it's due to the shareholders and stuff,
or like the changes in the gaming industry overall, and they're just not grasping it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's just. We'll see. We'll see. We gonna watch your career with. How's the meme from the Star Wars? We're gonna watch your career
with great interest.
With great interest. Yeah. I should remember that. Yeah. So yeah, that was GTA 6.
We have high expectations.
Yeah, we have a high expectation. Same from CD Projekt Red. We have really high expectations. I feel like high expectations is good if it has common sense. Like, I'm sorry, but if the first and foremost, please, devs, don't make promise that you can't fulfill.
Yeah, it's the thing. Under promise, over deliver, rather than the other way around.
Exactly. Because I want to be surprised. I want to be. Oh, this game has this. That's amazing. That's like
even better than they promised.
Yeah,
exactly.
And also, like, let's be honest. Like, us as gamers, as players, people are freaking greedy, and they're not understanding. Like with if I go back to the Cyberpunk 2077 development, as they were saying, let's move it to the next year, all of that, they are getting death threats. They are getting hateful emails and mail and stuff like that. You could say it was just a empty threat. It doesn't lead you know. No, if I would have a company and someone would send to my employee that, hey, I'm going to kill you if you're not going to work on that game, I'm going to take it freaking seriously. And I'm not going to take the chance.
Yeah, that it could be a real death threat.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know. People are crazy.
Oh, yeah, they are.
So, guys.
I mean, to quote on that, to close this kind of like the death threat topic, I would say, I would quote from the IT crowd, people, what a bunch of bastards.
Exactly. So I would say to us as gamers, let's lower the expectancy a little bit. Let's just take a step back. Yeah, we can expect a lot, especially when they're promising us. That's fair. If they're promising us a lot, it's fair to have that expectation. But let's not be freaking idiots. Let's not be
people.
Let's be humans. Exactly.
People are making the games.
Yeah.
Come on.
If you like, the game development is a stressful job enough of itself.
Oh yeah.
And if you're gonna send, I'm gonna kill you if you're not gonna release the game,
which you have no power of because some executive up top decided that.
Yeah. Exactly. So let's just take a step back as gamers, and let's have a high expectation. There's nothing wrong with that, but let's just have a realistic expectations too. And if the game needs a little bit more, there's nothing wrong with letting the game being in the oven for a little bit longer time. Yeah, if you pre-ordered it, I'm sorry.
Sorry for
just
you.
wait. Just have some freaking patience. just wait. Even if the game would come 2 years later, but you knew that it would come in a really, really good state, it's just freaking worth your every freaking penny. And
as I said, vote with your wallet. Like, don't send death threats if the game sucks. Refund it if you can.
Yeah.
There are options, or you don't have to buy it, or read the reviews before you buy it. Like, if it's a company that don't always make good games, or like any company, as I said, don't buy it right away. You can wait one day to read the reviews. And if you think it will be bad, don't buy it. Vote with your wallet. Don't send death threats, because it's usually not the dev's fault. It's like hundreds of people working on it, a lot of decisions coming from the executive, like, let's cut this content because we want to release it for like this season. That's not the dev's fault. Rather, be the good community when the Halo Master Chief Collection was announced and the 343 Industries announced they are working on it, and that they will keep the option to have the old visuals and the new visuals, which is awesome. People were sending them pizzas, and they said, it on Twitter. I think people, please stop sending us pizzas. We have way too many. We can't eat all the
That's
pizzas.
nice.
And be that kind of gamer. Like, do the good stuff. And when
support
someone
the
else does the bad, just vote with your wallet. You have the power.
Yeah. Also, I want to say, I want to stress this enough. I want to make this a really big point. You are not buying a property. You are buying a license. If you're buying a game, you're not buying the game. You're just buying a license. They're allowing you for some money to play the game on your console. You're not buying a product. You're buying a license. Therefore, you have no right to demand anything. Every development starts with some creative mind, someone who wants, hey, I want to make this game and I want it to be fun. It's going to be my little baby and I'm going to carry it and I hope it's going to be fun. There's this creative, the whole game development is just a creative job where you're making something that you are excited for, you're enjoying, and maybe you have a good team and it's their product. It's not yours. I want to be honest with this. Like, you have no right to demand anything.
It's a product. Still is a product, something you can buy. Like, in terms of like license for the product. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's product in like the business terms.
Yeah. But you're buying the license to play the game. You're not buying
to use the product.
Yeah. Only if you're buying a physical copy, the product you're getting is the physical disc.
Or
and the
sometimes
cover.
it's just a license on the disc.
Exactly.
But yeah, exactly. It's still kind of a kind of license here. You're right.
Yeah. So let's just It sounds really harsh, but we have no right to demand anything. It's their product. It's their baby. They're gonna work on it however they want. We have no right to demand. Yes, they of course. If it's a game that they want the people enjoy, they will listen to you.
Because they want your money. They want to persuade you to buy the game.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why voting with your wallet is so important.
Exactly. So let's just be sensible to developers and also in between each other. Yeah, let's just not like, you hate this game, I hate this platform. It doesn't matter. We're all gamers. Doesn't matter what you game on.
And we have one thing in common, and that's the X button, whatever you call it.
Frick off.
even mobile gamers have it, the X to close the app.
Yeah. So that was just a topic from the 2022. As we said, like, we're gonna talk more later on in different episodes in the future. So far, if you liking this, if you're enjoying to be with us here, if you're listening, even on the freaking toilet, then have a good poop, first and foremost. And second of all, please give us a follow on social media. Go to our YouTube and share with your friends, because that's the best way of us getting more listeners and making more and more episodes, because we know that you care and we care for you. And have a good poop.
And also don't forget to share with us your opinions and takes on the topics we talked about, because like, everyone can have a different opinion. We have 2 opinions here.
Yeah.
And there are way more.
Yeah. Let's start a conversation in comment section on YouTube or somewhere else. Maybe we'll make a Reddit thread one day.
Like the poop thoughts on some.
Yeah, dude.
Maybe
like
really
the best,
good, right?
best thoughts are while you're pooping. I mean,
or while you're in shower.
Yeah, or while you're in shower. There's a reason why why do you have best thoughts like when you're showering or when it's raining? It's because the water droplets take the dust with them down, and therefore the air is more clear, and therefore your brain thinks a little bit better. So
overclocking the brain with a shower.
Exactly. So let's take a shower, everyone.
Hey, stop. I see you're trying to turn off this podcast. Don't do it, because we are not done yet. I mean, it kind of might have sounded like that, because we talked about the socials, and a lot of people do it in the end of some talk.
We do it our own way, okay?
Yeah. And we would like to talk about the games we played in 2022, the past year. Because as I said at the beginning, I played a whole lot of games. As Michal said, he didn't play that whole lot of games, but still played games.
Yeah,
no?
I did still play games, yeah.
Actually, like, to be honest, it kind of surprised me the amount of games I have touched the last
Okay.
year when I was preparing for this episode, watching all my achievement list, like, wow, I really played this, like in the 1 year. But so that we get the bad first, like the bad news
Sure, let's
first,
get the
let's start
disappointment.
with the biggest disappointment, because I mean, like, there were some great games, or a lot of great games. Like, we didn't limit ourselves to the newest releases, of course. Spoiler alert. But there were some disappointments that happened last year, like the new
yeah.
releases that were bad, or
There's been
like
quite a
games
lot,
that were
actually.
bad. Yeah. Like, the gaming industry is not always at the best place.
Yeah.
And so, Michal, what was your biggest disappointment last year? What you played that really disappointed you?
I think the biggest one so far was the Battlefield 2042. It was so bad. I actually played it only once because it was so terrible. The operator system, like you, it's not that just you have a soldier, you have a rifleman, medic, you have a sniper and stuff like that. But now you have like operators with some. I feel like, I don't know if they changed it or not, but I think they had like each of the operators you could use had like a different skill set and stuff like that. It was so awful. Like, why? That's not what Battlefield was about. Battlefield was about massive battles, realistic combat, and that doesn't happen in the game.
I mean, like, you had some operators in the past games. Like, I mean, operators like a different classes.
But this is
This is something
this
different.
is something
I
totally
haven't played the
different.
2042. So.
And yeah, you should not. It's actually
I
so
won't.
bad. It's I don't know. I don't know how the game is in a state right now, if they fix it or not. I mean, come on, it's EA and it's DICE. Let's be honest. Like, their game's just been going nosedive. Like, the visual glitches and bugs, the terrible gunplay. The gunplay was absolutely awful. That was one thing that was actually the previous Battlefields were known for their realistic gunplay. That was just gone. Like, you feel like you're shooting airsoft guns at each other. It's terrible. Matchmaking was absolutely terrible. It still is.
I mean, a lot of games these days has terrible matchmaking, but
Yeah, but this was like above that.
okay.
Like, it first of all, it takes you so long because no one's playing it to join in.
Understandable.
But also like, you join to a server. Like, why did I connect to the US server when I'm playing from Europe?
Oh, that sucks.
That
Like,
was
100 plus
the
ping, right?
Yeah, exactly. Also, like, the FPS drops and everything was like the loading of the textures and all the assets, the static meshes and stuff like that. And visual
Sounds
glitches.
like a rushed and
No, it was.
unfinished game.
It was. But in the end of the day, I wasn't really surprised. Even like the Battlefield 5 was a disappointment too. Like, pushing some agendas, and also like, just it wasn't fun at all. So what about you?
Well, my biggest disappointment of last year might not come to everyone who knows what I play, what I liked, by surprise. I wasn't secretive about it, but my biggest disappointment of last year is, of course, Overwatch 2.
Oh yeah, you loved Overwatch 1. You
I
played a
loved
lot of it.
Oh, yeah,
You tried
I
to
did.
get me to play it, but I never budged.
Well, and now you can't. And that's one of the things why Overwatch 2 kind of sucks. And because it killed the Overwatch 1, it replaced it, so now you can't have the
So
original.
they literally just cancelled Overwatch 1.
Well, Overwatch 1 is now Overwatch 2, which is free to play. And
What went to that decision? I didn't know that. What went to that decision of doing that?
low IQ
I guess
people who decided that, I don't know. But like, the thing is, why I would rather play Overwatch 1 is because the Overwatch 2 has a lot of flaws for me. Like, first, terrible launch. why Blizzard has terrible launches. They have experienced terrible launches before. They should know by now at least some things to prevent that. But every time they do a big launch, it's terrible. It has issues. I have like a screenshot or like a picture, not screenshot, a photo on my phone. When with my brother we were trying to connect to the game on different devices, so there are like multiple screens trying to connect into game from multiple people, and it's not working. So that is one thing. But even if the bad launches can happen, I mean, they should not happen to Blizzard, who did it so many times, but they can happen. But they changed the game. They changed what we loved about it. Like they switched it from 6v6, which made it kind of unique and balanced. It was balanced for 6v6. Like you had 2 tanks, 2 supports, and 2 damage dealers. And now you have only 1 tank and 2 supports, 2 damage dealers. It's 5 versus 5, which kind of makes it like a...
weird.
Like CS:GO is 5v5, but you don't have classes in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not hero-based shooter, so it's like depending on which loadout you will take. But in Overwatch 2, you have locked in competitive play, unless you do like the open queue. Like in like competitive, you have the hero queue, or no, what it's called. Anyway, like you have locked the class that you use, and you can't just switch. And they say they did it, or like some people say they did it because people weren't playing tanks that much. But I'm like, yeah, but maybe because like to combat this, you should make more tank heroes. That would be fun, or change it, because now the balance is broken. Each time the rebalance a character, it throws off balance in some other areas. They switch from levels to Battle Pass. And if you would know me, I kind of hate Battle Pass. I think they're awful. No, seriously, I didn't think I would ever say it, but loot boxes in Overwatch were better than Battle Pass.
That's a big statement.
A lot of gamers
That's a big statement.
But like
right there.
in Overwatch, it was not necessarily pay to win, because A, they were for like skins and emotes and stuff, so nothing that would change the gameplay. And B, you would gain them for earning levels. And now you don't earn levels. You don't have like a special frame on your profile because you earned that many XP. No, now you have Battle Pass XP. And it is reset after each season, and
that's sad.
It's very sad, and I'm sorry you will never be able to experience the good old Overwatch 1. And the worst thing about all this, like they promised, with Overwatch 2 we will have the single player experience, the story experience.
Okay.
But guess what? Do you think it launched?
No,
it will be launched later.
Terrible.
So at least so I will play through the story mode. No, I cannot, because it's not released yet. Come on, Blizzard. That is a big disappointment for me.
Didn't they also put some of the heroes behind a paywall?
For those who own the original game, they got all of them. But yeah, like some new heroes.
Why would you do that? That's terribly unbalanced.
I mean, not necessarily, but yeah, I don't like that they did this way, that you have to unlock the heroes in the Battle Pass. And you're right, Sam, you had to buy the Battle Pass.
Yeah, and they also, I think they canceled one of the heroes because he was too OP.
And they had some issues with the heroes, at least, and because there were some game-breaking bugs. I mean, with so many experience, how could you mess this up so royally? And the thing is, they argument, well, more people are playing. Yeah, because it's free to play. That's what 13-year-old kids play.
Yeah.
The games that are free because their mom won't let them use their credit card
to buy a normal game.
Yeah. So
and if they get a
it's
game
free to play.
Christmas,
of course, more people play it.
Yeah.
Just please, if you play Overwatch 2, don't buy the overpriced skins or the Battle Pass.
I never used. I never bought microtransaction stuff. I never bought anything within the game.
Yeah, it's like, And, well, I have one dishonorable mention for the biggest disappointment, and that is Need for Speed Unbound.
Okay.
I tried it with the Game Pass, 10-hour trial, and I switched it off after hour and a half.
That's sad.
Really trying to play it, that maybe there will be better stuff. Yeah, the car handling, the driving model is pretty bad, and the gameplay isn't worth it, let's say. It does not give you the options to continue playing. Yeah. So with the bet out of the way, let's just forget it, close it.
Never open it again.
Yeah. Let's go to our game of the year, because there are bad games, but there are also awesome games released in the last year. There were several Game of the Year ceremonies, some better than the others, I would say, because some forgot that other than 7 AAA games exist. But let's have our own Game of the Year. So after our gamers present Game of the Year 2022 awards.
Can we have some kind of effect for that? If I had a celebratory soundtrack and just play it over?
Da-da-da-da. Okay, so I guess I can start.
Yeah, go
now
for it.
With my game of the year, and this one made me really happy. It's Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I don't know if you know Kirby. It's the Nintendo game developed by HAL Laboratories. It's the guy that makes Super Smash Brothers or Kirby, so that might ring a bell for some people. And it's the pink ball. That's Kirby. And in the Forgotten Land, the game design is just so creative, and the level design variability. Each time you open a new level, you are surprised how they managed to add new stuff to it when you thought they were already done with the mechanics and stuff. And you can now upgrade abilities, and they even added the mouth mode, which is if you know the Kirby can inhale enemies and inherit their abilities. And in this game you can switch those. You drop the ability and inhale another enemy and get his.
How does it work?
Let's not dig into that. There are many theories. I would even suggest don't Google it.
Oh god!
But there's this. There are theories by fans, not official statements.
Oh, okay. So Nintendo never come out of this. Really?
I'm not really sure, but I wouldn't dig too deep into that. How it works with all of that stuff, theoretically.
Fair.
But there's this mouthful mode, which is you kind of partially inhale stuff. You can inhale the car and ride the car because you're holding on to the top of it and you control it and the wheels are out of your mouth. Or you can turn yourself into a glider because you inhale a big piece of metal and you can glide. And they are very creative and very awesome. And you can fill yourself with water and then you can put out fires or water plants because you are this big walking balloon full of water. And it's really creative, really great gameplay mechanics. From the gameplay standpoint, the game is amazing. I would say it's something like Super Mario Odyssey was to Mario games. In terms it's 3D, it's still a platformer, it still has the spirit, but has so many great ideas that were not in the series before. And well, of course, as you can expect from Kirby, it has amazing art style and visual design. It has awesome soundtracks. It's maximum cuteness in the best possible way. No, seriously, a guy like me can say it's really cute because it is. And it's the magic. You can play it. It's Peggy 3, I think. Don't quote me on that. You can play it with your kids and you will still have fun and they will like how the game looks.
Well, if they will see pink ball inhaling freaking cars, not too terrifying for a 3-year-old, maybe.
You can spit the car after you're done with it.
Fair enough.
The other thing, kids sometimes don't care about this specific questions we adults can have.
Fair enough.
And as always, it pushes the Switch's hardware and as kind of any HAL Laboratories games, it was released complete, no bugs, functioning, great games without the need of getting hot fixed, because it would just work and it was awesome.
Great.
So put it on your backlog list if you have a Switch available.
I don't have a Switch, so maybe one day. One day.
Anyway, that was my game of the year. What's yours?
So, for me, it was definitely God of War Ragnarok. I mean, that game is amazing. Even I didn't thought top-notch level design from 2018 could be done even better. There's a YouTube video just talks about the level design in God of War, how in just the first level, how good it is, what they're using, how it's very, very subtle, even though it's basically almost a linear game, but still it's very subtly lead you to those side locations and side loot and stuff like that, and it's doing it very, very, very cleverly. It's like the level designers are just so good. I wish I could meet them and tell them you did such a good job. It was the level design in God of War and God of War Ragnarok. Amazing, absolutely amazing.
I mean, they have a great record from some of the experience from the previous centuries.
Obviously.
They also had, and I think this feels like they're evolving even better.
Yeah, it's so good. It's almost the story and the writing is so good. You think how could they improve? For example, I don't know if you haven't played the.
I actually played all of the pre-2018 games.
Yeah, so in the 2018, there's a character called Mimir, and he tells these stories of Nordic mythology, but he's also quite a funny guy. And I was thinking, he was pretty funny already in the 2018. How they will improve that? Can they? And they did. The dynamic of the characters changed from the previous game, and it's so good. The writing is good. The story is amazing. So good. The characters are so lovable, and you hate the baddies. That's what you want from the game. You absolutely hate the bad guys, and as you progress through the game, you find some of. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but just the encounters with other characters and the dialogues and everything, so good. And Kratos is absolutely amazing. I mean, Christopher Judge, who was voicing Kratos, he finally got the Game of the Year award for that. The voice for the best voice acting. I thought that he should have got it at the 2018 Game Awards because he was freaking amazing. Even though his dialogues are not that long, but he gave Kratos this sense of wiseness or this dignity, and it's just. I gotta say,
I know that the 2018 and Ragnarok are happening several years after the previous entries, but. Now you say the sense of wiseness. I don't remember Kratos being wise in the previous entry, so that is interesting.
It's they completely flipped it around. I implore you to play these games.
I mean, it's definitely on my backlog.
Yeah. So, and the combat is fun and rewarding. It can be sometimes pretty difficult, and it can be maybe a little bit repetitive, but it's fun. You're playing as a guy who can freaking kill a dragon. Okay, you have a guy who killed Kronos.
I mean, we all know that Kratos basically killed half of the Olympus. So
most of the Olympus.
It's not surprising.
Yeah. So his combat is rewarding. The axe and other weapons are so good. It's just so much fun to just play as Kratos. It's so much fun. Locations are even more beautiful. Even that you go to the same locations, they managed to improve it so much better. Wow. You're also finding new locations, but it's just they look so nice. They're well thought too. It's not just hey, we give you this new location, go explore it. There's thought put behind it. Everything, the pacing of the game is absolutely amazing.
I mean, that's
one
really
of the.
important.
I feel like that's one of the things that the previous games had a big problem with, the pacing sometimes. But the God of War and God of War Ragnarok, the pacing is just right. Like they know when to introduce puzzle, when to introduce smoke combat, when to introduce boss fight. And when to introduce story. They have it so well balanced that you just glancing through the game and you think, this is amazing. And the graphics are graphics are so beautiful. I mean, it's kind of said that the on the PS5 on the like the high graphics mode, it runs only 30 FPS, which is kind of a sad, but I understand why. It's because the game also is on PlayStation 4, and it would be just pain to basically develop two different games. So, but it still looks beautiful. Lighting is amazing. That's a little thing. You can have low polygon stuff, but if you have really great lighting, it will look amazing. Lighting makes everything looks so much better and so much more realistic. And as the game from 2018, God of War Ragnarok, no bugs. No bugs. And that's so finished amazing. Game. It's a finished game. That's why it's so good. Because it was freaking finished. No bugs, no glitches, no FPS drops. I was like sitting there freaking enjoying it, and after like 3 or 4 hours of gameplay, I was like, holy crap, I haven't encountered anything wrong with it.
And you work as a QA, so you are more prone to register that.
Yeah, I used to work as a QA. It's a thing that I was noticing, like, okay, this is crappy. This should have been fixed already. But yeah, this game had no bugs, and I wish I could play it again.
I see. Well, like it's definitely on my backlog with the 2018. I mean, like since the PC release, there's much more likely I will play it sooner rather than later. The 2018 one. I hope I will later get to the Ragnarok as well.
You should.
Because as I said, I played the previous entries and I really enjoyed them.
It's a like a lot of people were complaining that they don't see like the killing machine Kratos from the previous game, but like, hey, he's a character and he needs to develop. It would be just all same old.
It does not need to be like in the Star Wars sequels where the characters stop developing after being on the screen for 5 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, I like a good bash on the new trilogy.
The sequel sucked. Yeah, there are only 6 mainline Star Wars movies. Anyway, let's move on. We have some gaming highlights. We played some games in the last year, but not all of them were new. And some of them we enjoyed more than the others. And some of them we wanted to talk more or give a shout out in this episode. Yeah. So let's dive into our highlights. Maybe you can start with your first highlight.
Definitely. I picked some games that were not... They didn't come out in 2022, but I played them in 2022. And like for one of my biggest highlights is definitely It Takes Two. That game is so much fun. We played it together.
Yeah, we played it on your stream.
We streamed it on my Twitch, and it was freaking banger. That game had a lot of funny dialogues. The game mechanics were used to the fullest. If you were introduced to a new mechanic, you used it to the fullest. It wasn't just, oh, here, have a game mechanic, have fun with it. We have nothing to do with it later on, but like, hey. But this one, every time, like every level or every like area had a new mechanics, and it was freaking fun to do. The graphic style is very beautiful. It was a beautiful game. At some point, I think it almost made me cry. The dialogues were funny. Even the story was kind of annoying at some points, especially the ending, especially the one moment when you have to kill the plushy elephant. I was like, what the freak? What kind of a parent you are?
My thoughts exactly.
I was like so angry. I was like, I felt so bad. After that stream, I felt so freaking bad. Like, why? Why are you making me freaking do this?
Yeah.
And yeah, the graphic style is very beautiful, funny dialogues. The game was funny. The book was my favorite character. Everyone can say that he was freaking annoying. I loved the book.
He was awesome.
It was awesome. Only one amazing thing about this game is it was developed by the Hazelnut Studios, which also made the Way Out. It's the same dev team. Only one person has to own the game, which is freaking beautiful.
Yeah.
And you can enjoy it either on the couch co-op or co-op on a different
Online, just like we
yeah
did.
exactly. So, and only one person has to own the game, which is freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Finally, something you can play with your non-gamer friend or partner. I think that's a pretty big deal because there's not that many games where.
I actually talked with some people about this, and they said that like it's the great game to teach show your special one.
Yeah, your spouse.
That
or your
games can be
friends,
awesome,
yeah.
and this is like a great entry into it.
Yeah, exactly. And all the mini games were super fun.
we
had so much fun. Yeah. I remember playing it. I remember what was the one? I almost beat you on most of them. The mini games.
Yeah.
I beat you in chess. I am not good at chess.
I mean, that says that I am also not good at chess.
Fair enough. Another highlights for me, I would say, was Immortals Phoenix Rising.
I also played that.
Which is basically like kind of take Ubisoft's takeoff on Zelda: The Breath of the Wild, and they freaking nailed it. I would say.
Totally.
Yeah, they took the best from the Breath of the Wild and implemented it so well. Writing again, it's funny, if maybe a bit cheesy sometimes.
But I love how they take down the Greek mythology, like, like the stupid bits of it, and they bash at it.
It's great. The puzzles were a lot of fun. The puzzles, every puzzle is different, even though it uses the same mechanics most of the time. That's great, but that's what you want, because you don't want to introduce new mechanics every time you come to a puzzle.
Yeah,
you need to utilize the mechanics that you're using throughout the game. So that was really fun. Another one which also didn't come into 2022 was a Hold Fast Nations at War. The community in this game is so freaking awesome. Like you know how usually sometimes in like multiplayer games you want to mute voice talk in the lobby.
Totally.
You want to have it unmute. In this game, it's so much fun. People are freaking screaming, they're role playing, they're blasting music. It's so funny. You just hear like all the because it's like a Napoleonic warfare.
So it's like a first person.
No, you can go to third person, but it's also from first person. You're fighting with muskets.
Okay.
You're fighting with muskets.
Like a historical shooter.
It's a historical shooter. It's Napoleonic warfare. So the live events are fantastic. The live events it's the line battle, as you would fight in like Napoleonic war with muskets. So you would line up, and you can only shoot when you are in a line shoulder to shoulder. That's the only time you can shoot at these live events, and it's so much fun because everyone is also into role play so much. So you have actually the officers who are commanding you when to shoot and where to aim and stuff, and oh my gosh, it's so much fun. It's so much freaking fun. And every kill, because the musket is obviously it's a musket, so it's not very accurate, so every
long reload times, maybe.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So every kill is a freaking satisfaction. But the biggest thing is just the community around it, because no one cares how stupid you sound at the lobby or in the game, no matter what you do, and if you're just having fun. And that's the thing. This community, there's a lot of screaming at each other, but it's at a good fun. No one's going there with intentions, I'm gonna make someone's day bad. I'm just gonna have fun with this. I'm gonna freaking blast freaking music out of my speakers and put them in the freaking game. I don't care. I'm gonna start screaming and running around. And you know what? People will join you. That's the funny part. Like you see someone just running in a circle, just walking in a circle and listening to music from their speakers, and then all of a sudden in a few minutes, like you have 50 people who was walking in the circle. The community is freaking amazing in the game. And one of the other highlights. Sorry, I'm going for so long. It's the Witcher 3.
It's okay. I thought we would switch.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I was gonna finish with this.
So I will let you keep this one. For the last, maybe.
Okay, the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, the next gen update. the lighting improvement, the foliage is more dense, the cinematic camera, back fixes, new question content. We already talked about this, but oh my god, it's so much good. For someone who loves The Witcher 3 and who loves the Witcher universe.
You finished it like 2 or 3 times already?
Oh, I have like 700 hours in The Witcher 3. I've played it so many times.
So you should give like a negative review on Steam, just like people do it, like 700 hours. I don't like this
exactly.
game. It's destroyed my life or whatever.
Exactly. Destroyed my wallet. No, it's freaking. It's for free. The next gen update was for free, and that's what's mind-boggling. That's how you do a next gen update.
I mean, yeah, that's
you not just put it in a 4K. You not just bring the global illumination and the ray tracing, but you bring in new content, you backfix, and you do all these things for free. That's how you freaking make a next gen update and that's just showing the good heart of CD Projekt Red. Yes, it was freaking 40 gigabytes, and then another hotfix 2 days later, which was also like 40 gigabytes. But I don't freaking care. A game is freaking amazing, and I love it. And now it's even better. So that was me. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, like I just want to give one note about the free next gen update. We're mostly frowning at you, Sony and Nintendo, because you don't often do these free updates. I mean, sometimes, but not always.
Yeah.
It's a frown mostly at the Last of Us Part 1 for $70 instead of free next gen update. Anyway, let's move for the good stuff.
I forgot about that. Oh god. Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah. Well, my highlight, like the biggest highlight, my time machine game of the year, which means like time machine means you start it and you forget about time and realize it's 2 a.m. and you should probably go to bed. My game of the year for that is Satisfactory. It's a factory building game. I don't know if you know the likes of Factorio or Dyson Sphere program. So this is a kind of similar game, but it's in first person. You are on the alien planet and you try to mine resources and build your awesome factory. You can have a lot of fun with conveyor belts, and it's called spaghetti builds when you like use too much conveyor belts very ineffectively, putting them over each other and tying them in knots.
Yeah.
And you can do it because this is in 3D. You have a lot of verticality. You can do a lot of crazy stuff. What actually persuaded me to start playing were the Let's Game It Out videos.
Oh yeah, I love that guy. He's so good.
Best Let's Play videos on the internet. And if you have doubts if you should start,
I call him the YouTube tester because he always brings the games into the
he
highest.
plays it like QA. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He just if he can freaking put 10 million fireworks into the game, he'll freaking do it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't care if it runs 1 FPS
or it crashes.
an hour or it crashes.
Yeah, so this is like, if you are not sure if Satisfactory is game for you, just watch some of his videos about it and maybe you will find that it looks like a fun game to you, because that's the magic of the game. You can play it whatever style you like. You can either go for like super clean, super tight, nice builds that are perfectly done by the grid, snapped everything, or you can do crazy like him or me, having crazy spaghetti builds using conveyor belts as the only mean of transport, because why should you use trains when conveyor belts don't consume that much energy?
Fair enough.
Big recommendation. It's if you're into sandbox games, go for it. If you are worried that you will soon run out of content, just wait for the next update, because
fair enough,
they are doing a lot of updates still.
Fair enough.
The next one is some that I would say might not be for everybody, and it's High on Life. When I first saw it, actually, I thought, I might not enjoy this game. It looks kind of weird, kind of odd. I don't know if you had that feeling when the trailer was first shown.
The thing is, I know it was like kind of a Rick and Morty type of stuff, and I'm not a big fan of Rick and
I
Morty.
see.
So I send it to my colleagues who are into that, and I kind of like glance over my head. I really didn't pay much attention to it. And yeah, so
Yeah, that's the thing. It's the game that came from the mind and with the voice of Justin Roiland that's worked, is most famous for his work on Rick and Morty, of course.
is he the voice actor for them?
Yeah, he did. I think he did the Morty voice and the main gun in the High on Life.
Doesn't he do both Rick and Morty?
It's quite possible.
I think he does both. I think that's why the dynamic is so good, because he voices both of the characters.
That's quite possible. Well, like it kind of feels the High Life thanks to the similar familiar voice, and similar way of talking.
It's
feels
exactly the same voice as Morty. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's like Morty, I turned you into a weapon. You're a gun now. You're
exactly.
It feels a little bit like your own episode of Rick and Morty. But the thing is, like when I first saw it, it looked kind of weird and I wasn't really into it. But then they showed the boss gameplay and I'm like, okay, maybe this will be interesting. And thanks to it being on Game Pass and me being a Game Pass subscriber, I decided to give it a try. It's actually the game, last game I finished in 2022. I finished it in December 31st.
You played it on New Year's Day?
I mean, like I finished it somewhere around noon, and later I went to a social event for the New Year's Day.
Fair enough.
Well, it's the last game I finished in 2022, and heck, it was a whole lot of fun because it feels like when games peaked at 2013, the length is like around 8 hours, maybe more, deciding on how much you want to do, so you don't get bored of it. I have been playing a lot of long games lately, and this one is not too long. It has a lot of jokes. If you're not into the jokes or you find the dialogues annoying, you have a setting to reduce the amount of dialogues of the guns and of the characters. You have a lot of... I mean, yeah, I agree. Some jokes are a little bit on the gross side, as like some humor in Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
But that's the magic of it. It's totally unconstrained. Unlike a lot of other games trying to check that boxes like, yeah, we have this and this and this, so we are the good, appropriate game that have all the political points we need to have in a game. No, this is like, let's check as much boxes as we can for the fun and for the gameplay. Yeah. It feels like a game born of ideas and creativity, not a game born of we need to make money. It's like you have a level of unpredictability, and they even made the work that they connected everything to the story. Unlike other games like, well, let's just make the mechanic and don't care if it makes sense in the story. It's like, well, we can't do this, so let's explain it in the story. Yeah. And they actually, the guns can make fun of you if you try to speed run, if you try to take a shortcut, they talk to you.
Cool.
I mean, I haven't tried it, but I have seen the videos of it. And since it's just in Roiland, a lot of fourth wall breaks.
Yeah, of course. I've watched some videos. I'm not watching reviews anymore because I don't give a crap about reviews. But I saw some videos. A guy was saying that this game is more about the jokes rather than the gameplay. I don't know. I haven't played it, so. And to me, also the visual style is just not for me. It looks like it was made like 2005 or something.
I mean, like, I think it's kind of in the name. It's High on Life, so it's a very colorful game, you could say.
Yeah, I'm even talking about, as I said, I haven't played it, so I don't know how much of it is actually true. But like the low poly kind of stuff, I don't know.
I mean, like, it's still not a game by a large studio, so you cannot expect the AAA game from 500 people.
No, I know.
Level of detail.
Fair enough.
But yeah, obviously, it's not perfect in every way, but damn, it really got me. So, yeah, as you said, if you're not into Rick and Morty, you might not really be into that one that much because, yeah, that there are a lot of jokes. The gameplay is not like super deep and stuff because, of course, it's a shorter game. It's more of it's best played, I would say, just my experience. it's best played as a linear game, more or less. Like linear, it kind of is like linear game with open world elements. Okay. But it's better if you just go for the story and enjoy the story.
Yeah.
But I cannot state how not enough short games is coming out these days. I really have to give them credit for that. The next highlight I would like to share is the Hot Wheels DLC for the Forza Horizon 5.
I heard about it.
Because honestly, I love the Forza series. Forza Motorsport 1 on the OG Xbox was freaking awesome game. And they just kept getting better. And then the Horizon kind of combined I really like the arcade games style that some had, like the open worlding from Burnout Paradise, which is still one of the best racing games ever, with the simulation elements of the motorsport. And the Horizon 5, I bought the DLC because, of course, there were always great DLC, so I bought the season pass, and I was really looking forward to that one. And when I came home from work, it was released at like 7 p.m., so I came home. Once it came out, I hit download and okay, let's just try it. I want to do some other stuff and I will come to it on the weekend. And then I finished at 2 a.m. having a blast and it's a lot of fun. The nice new tracks, the story, kind of like it doesn't make any sense. I say, we built this island in the sky where we build this real life Hot Wheels tracks with the loops and stuff. Of course, it doesn't make sense. It's crap real life, but it's fun, and that's the point of it. And then you have the Hot Wheels cars, and they talk about some history in some series. It's the DLC I finished, like the main story and challenges of the DLC. I mean, not all challenges, but like main line. Yeah,
I'm not for much of a racing game or like arcade racing games, but I had a lot of fun with the Horizon 5. That was a good game. I had a lot of fun.
So if you played it, you might enjoy the Hot Wheels DLC.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get it. It's not that worth it.
Maybe I'll show you once you visit.
Yeah, maybe.
And the last highlight I would like to talk about today for me was Deathloop. Now I know I haven't yet played the. What was their previous games from Arcane? What's it called? Dishonored. Yeah, I lost the word there for a minute. That's a disgrace.
You should play them.
Dishonored. I totally want to, and I have them on my list. And I actually was thinking about playing it, but I was at home sick. Mm-hmm. I was sleeping for most of the day because I was really tired when I was sick. And Deathloop came on Game Pass, and I was like, you know what? Let's try it from like the 4 hours a day I'm awake. And so I finished it when I was homesick, and I can say it restored my faith in AAA games because it does open worlding right, even in like 4 dimensions. Each location is different during the different time of the day. It rewards you because it gives you like clues or code stuff to progress. The sound design, pretty sweet. The visual style really gives you the 60s feel. That's nice. The voice acting, fun.
Oh yeah, I saw some voice acting of the game. Yeah.
And even like the multiplayer is fun. I mean,
there's a multiplayer?
Yeah, well, because you have like the call that's trying to break the loop, and you have Juliana who's trying to stop him. Yeah. And what you can do, you can invade as Juliana other players' timeline and try to stop call. And it's like great idea for this kind of game. The only downside to this is that the implementation is not perfect because networking is freaking hard to implement, right?
Fair.
And so there are networking issues, and not a lot of people are doing it. So you can like have large ping because you're connected to someone in US, and that can be broken. But hey, it's a fun game.
Yeah.
All right, so the highlights were fun. A lot of great games we played.
Yeah.
But before we wrap it up for today, we have one thing we would like to at least briefly talk about because the new year's ahead of us. And I don't know about you, but I'm really excited about some of the games.
There's a lot of good games coming, a lot of games that were delayed.
Yes,
from 2022, and it's going to come out in
hopefully they won't be delayed anymore.
Yeah. Well, we don't know.
Anything can happen.
No, devs, if you need to do it, just delay it.
Yeah. As to quote Shigeru Miyamoto, a rushed game can be forever bad, but delayed game can be eventually good, or something like that. So basically saying, rather
Wise
make it
man.
good than rush it. Yeah. I mean, he has experience in the gaming industry, all right? Anyway, what's your most expected game, like the game you're most excited for in 2023?
So definitely the Hogwarts Legacy.
A Potterhead, I see.
Yeah, actually, like my wife is more Potterhead than I am, but the game looks freaking fun. Like, I don't know if you played the previous games. I'm not talking about the
Lego Harry Potter.
No, well, that's an amazing game too. But I'm talking about the really, really old games.
Like the PS1 era.
Yeah, like the Sorcerer's Stone. Like, they were named after the books and the movies. They were so much fun. I mean, I will never be able to erase the Harry screaming Flipendo every time he wanted to do something. That was freaking annoying. But yeah, dude, we watched with my wife. We watched like the live streams, Avalanche Games, showing the gameplay and the elements of the game, and we were really excited. It looks like a lot of fun. The combat looks a lot of fun. It's just like walking around the Hogwarts. The game looks beautiful.
It's definitely like much more modern entry in the series.
Oh yeah, it looks like a proper game, not just something that was made on a side
of the movie.
Of the movie.
I see, yeah.
We know how these games usually turns out. So this game it's something else. It's happening before the books. It's happening before the Fantastic Beasts, and it looks so freaking good. Other two games I'm really, really looking forward to is Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Oh yeah,
I loved the Fallen Order. That was a really good game. Although
I also
repetitive.
have some comments.
Like repetitive, repetitive and other stuff. But story was fine. Characters were really, really good. Graphically was beautiful. I mean, you are a freaking Jedi. How much do you want?
Well, how much do you want? You would actually want to have a lightsaber that is not a baseball bat. That's what I want from the Jedi Survivor.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's Disney again. They don't want killing people for some reason. They never kill people. And so if you look at the movies, like there's no one like actually gets severed.
Well. Yeah, as you said, I hope the Jedi Survivor will improve on some of these things.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the one. And then the other one is, I'm going to actually do two-parter because I can't decide between two games.
Okay, sure. Go for it.
One of them is Baldur's Gate. I have to make a confession. I never played the previous installments. But because we started recently last year, we started playing Dungeons and Dragons.
It's actually almost around a year ago.
Yeah, exactly. So because of that, I got more into the once you D&D, you're always in the D&D. There's no escape from it. So. And that game is based on D&D, like everything, the classic races and everything. I mean, Baldur's Gate is in Forgotten Realms, you know that, right? So I'm really looking forward to that. And then also I'm really looking forward for Dying Light 2. Dead Island.
Oh, okay.
2. Because that game was peaked a long time ago with that trailer of the guy jogging in California somewhere. And now they announced they keep developing it. It wasn't forgotten. It wasn't canceled. They keep developing. So I'm really excited, even though that I don't like horror games and I'm freaking scared and I'm a scaredy pants. But I'm looking forward because it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Like Dead Island 1 and Dead Island Riptide were fun games. Although I crap my pants a lot of times, it was freaking fun. I think that's what I'm looking for. What about you, man?
Well, I mean, as I am a Switch owner, I guess you all know what I will say now, that I am looking the most forward for The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Sorry, you're not just a Switch owner. You're a massive Nintendo fan. Let's be quite clear here. You're very, very biased.
I really love their
Switch.
games. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't agree with all things they've been doing lately, but yeah, I really love their games. And like, let's face it, the Breath of the Wild is one of the best games in the last decade, and the Tears of the Kingdom was actually born from ideas for DLC for the Breath of the Wild. And there will be Skyloft, which, or like probably, hopefully, which was in the Skyward Sword. And
Okay.
I mean,
I don't know what that is.
it's the like the floating world above Hyrule. And like
okay.
basically in Skyward Sword, which predates all the other Zelda entries, is like exploring Hyrule from people who are only living in the Skyloft above.
Okay, fair enough.
But like, yeah, the Zelda timeline is very complicated. And the world and lore, I mean, I haven't played all of the games, just a few of them, but I'm really looking forward to this one. It looks amazing.
Let's be honest.
May 12th, Switch owners.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild. I haven't played it, but I saw gameplay. It looks like a lot of fun. And that's coming from me, a guy who never owned any Nintendo console.
Yeah, I mean, Breath of the Wild was really sweet game.
Yeah.
And well, just to go quick for the next few, of course, new Forza Motorsport is coming with much more detailed simulation than the Horizon 5, more visual fidelity and stuff. So of course I'm excited. I want to mention another one, Lord of the Rings Golem, because I like Lord of the Rings. I don't like the Amazon fanfiction with pretty crappy writers. Why would you waste so much money and you can't even hire good writers that dishonored the legacy of the freaking best fantasy author of all time? Sorry, but I'm really looking forward to the Golem game. It looks like it might be actually interesting take, and it hopefully coming this year. It was postponed several times, and it's coming to basically all the major platforms.
Yeah.
So maybe somewhere in the future we will play it and we will be like, okay, this was a good game, or maybe not.
We'll see.
But I hope.
That's the thing. We never know. We never know. We never know.
Yeah. And my last pick for what I'm excited for is Alan Wake 2. Because Alan Wake 1, not everybody liked that game, but I found it really interesting. I really liked the kind of mood of it.
I played it for like 2 hours and then I had to stop because I was too scared.
Okay, understandable. Yeah, I mean, like it kind of aged and not that well in every regard. I mean,
but back in the day, it was still a pretty game. I liked the mechanic of the flashlight.
Oh yeah, that
was
awesome.
amazing.
And the Old Gods of Asgard, the band that also made some of the soundtrack for the Control. The fictional band. They are in reality they are called Poets of the Fall, I think.
Oh, really?
the old guys in the Alan Wake game.
Yeah.
So there's later in the game there's like some of their songs playing in Alan Wake, and the Take Control song from Control is by this fictional band.
Oh, cool.
And so I have high hopes because
is Control made by the same?
Yeah, it's made by Remedy Entertainment, and actually Control and Alan Wake are in the same universe.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it confirmed by the Remedy Studios?
Yeah, the one of the DLCs for Control is like linked to the Alan Wake.
Okay, why am I saying it? Because there's lots of videos today of people, especially in the movies or even video games, like they're talking, this has to be in the same universe because there's this picture of there's this same picture of this character from this movie. Like maybe they just reusing assets. Maybe they
just forgot about it.
And they just
like it's coincidence.
It's that doesn't. Okay,
or it can be an Easter egg.
Yeah. It just could be in the exactly. Most of the time, it's sorry. I'm just really passionate about some of these stuff. Maybe it's just an Easter egg, and it's not connected. I highly doubt that Pocahontas is linked to Little Mermaid. I'm sorry, but it's not. I very highly doubt it.
Yeah, so Alan Wake actually is linked to Control.
Good.
It was in the DLC, like they were exploring what happened in the town where Alan Wake was like the bureau of Control. So I'm kind of curious how will they level up the gameplay if there will be some interesting story.
Isn't there like a DLC or standalone game of Alan Wake?
There was DLC which like completed the story loop or like
wasn't
the
that
story.
like American something?
And American Nightmare, which was a standalone game with the Mr. Scratchy, I think.
Okay,
which if you played the OG Alan Wake, you might remember something.
Maybe I don't. It was a long time ago.
Yeah. Yes, of course.
Kind of pushed it somewhere else.
But we'll see what Remedy will come out with.
Let's see what 2023.
Yeah, I have high hopes.
Yeah, me too.
For this year, I'm hoping that with hopefully the bad things. There are bad things happening in the world. I hope there will be no more of that. That there will be no more delays because of what's happening in the world, and that we will all just have a great time with the game. And that leads me to, because it all leads to this one final question. Is Sadie Adler the best character in Red Dead Redemption 2?
Why? Why are you asking that question?
Because the answer is, of course, yes. I really wanted to push that last question into the episode.
God, what a note to end on, huh? Anyway, thank you everyone so much for watching. This is Michal and Matouš from Afterward Gaming.
Listening.
Afterward Gamers podcast. Please do give us a follow on any platform that you're listening on, and give us a follow us on our social media. Currently we only have Instagram, but we're looking forward. This was a lot of fun for us to do. We've been talking about it, preparing it for past months, and we finally are excited that we could record it together, and it was a lot of fun. So
we hope you enjoyed it.
Please, if you enjoyed it, again, please give us a follow, give us a follow on social media, and also share it with your friends or your family or
anyone who could enjoy it.
Everyone who you think could just enjoy just two Czech nerdy guys talking about video games. Talking about
sharing their stupid opinions.
But as we are excited for the game industry for 2023, we are also excited that we can launch this podcast with you guys. And we are really happy that you are listening to us. And how we're going to do this, just really, really quickly, we're going to do this monthly. The podcast will come only once a month. And it's going to come on Spotify, and it's going to come definitely on YouTube, and we're figuring out other platforms too at the moment. So
you might be surprised we will appear on your favorite platform. Maybe. We hope.
Maybe. Also, and if you'd like to, I'm gonna give shout out to myself. If you like to enjoy maybe me streaming, if you like my voice, if you just like to see a guy screaming in a horror game, really, really piss his pants, just give me a follow on Twitch, magically_mighty_chaluha, CHALUHA. All right, guys.
Right. Thank you once again so much for listening and sharing. We love you. Share with us your opinions or reactions, and we hope to see you. We hope you hear us in the next one.
And you know what? You can always game after work.
Have a great day.
Have a good one, guys.
Bye.